Once upon a time, in a noisy and busy world, there lived a man named Marcus. Marcus was like many of us, trying to find peace in a world filled with distraction. Everywhere he looked, there were screens flashing, people talking, and endless demands on his time. He felt pulled in every direction, and his mind was never still. One day, Marcus decided he had enough. He wanted to find a way to stay calm and focused, no matter what chaos surrounded him. He remembered hearing about the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, and wondered if it could help him. Marcus began his journey by reading the words of the great Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. He learned that Stoicism wasn't about hiding from the world or pretending that problems didn't exist. Instead, it was about training the mind to see things clearly and to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. The first lesson Marcus took to heart was the idea of control. The Stoics taught that some things are within our power, and some things are not. Worrying about things outside his control, like traffic or other people's opinions, was a waste of energy. Marcus realized that if he focused only on what he could control, his thoughts, actions, and reactions, he would be much happier. But knowing this was not enough. Marcus had to practice it. Every morning, he started his day by reminding himself of this simple truth. Today, I will focus only on what I can control. When his phone buzzed with endless notifications, he asked himself, was this something he needed to respond to right now, or was it just noise? When someone cut him off in traffic, he took a deep breath instead of shouting. Slowly, he noticed that his days felt lighter. He wasn't carrying the weight of every little frustration anymore. Another challenge Marcus faced was the constant temptation of distractions. The world was designed to grab his attention. Social media, news, advertisements, all screaming for his time. The Stoics called these things externals, and they warned against becoming enslaved to them. Marcus decided to set boundaries. He turned off unnecessary notifications and set specific times to check his phone. Instead of scrolling mindlessly, he spent his free time reading, walking, or just sitting quietly. At first, it was hard. His mind craved the quick bursts of entertainment. But over time, he discovered something surprising. Silence was not empty. Silence was where his thoughts could breathe. One of the hardest lessons for Marcus was learning to accept discomfort. Modern life had taught him to avoid pain at all costs, to seek comfort, convenience, and pleasure. But the Stoics taught that discomfort was not the enemy. In fact, facing small hardships could make him stronger. Marcus started doing small things to practice this, taking cold showers, waking up early, or skipping an unnecessary snack. These were tiny challenges, but they reminded him that he could endure more than he thought. When bigger problems came, he was ready. Marcus also learned the power of perspective. The Stoics often practiced negative visualization, imagining the worst-case scenario to prepare the mind. At first, this seemed depressing to Marcus. Why would anyone think about losing their job, their health, or their loved ones? But he soon understood the wisdom in it. By imagining these hardships, he realized two things. First, that he could survive them. And second, that he didn't need as much as he thought to be happy. This exercise didn't make him fearful. It made him grateful. Every morning he took a moment to appreciate what he had, knowing that nothing in life was permanent. As the months passed, Marcus noticed a change in himself. The same world that once felt overwhelming now felt manageable. The distractions were still there, but they didn't control him. When stress came, he paused instead of panicking. When temptations arose, he asked himself, was this serving him, or was it just another trap? Most importantly, he understood that Stoicism wasn't about becoming emotionless. It was about not being ruled by emotions. He could still feel joy, sadness, or anger, but these feelings didn't dictate his actions. One evening, as Marcus sat by the window watching the sunset, he thought about how far he had come. The world outside was as noisy as ever. Cars honking, people rushing, screens glowing, but inside he was at peace. He realized that Stoicism wasn't just a philosophy he read about in books. It was a way of living, a daily practice of choosing what truly mattered. The distractions would always be there, but now he knew the secret. The quieter his mind became, the louder his wisdom spoke. And so, Marcus continued his journey, not as a man free from problems, but as a man free from the tyranny of his own reactions. In a world full of distractions, he had found something rare, an unshakable calm, and that he knew was the greatest victory of all.